Right.
Oh dear, I think we lost Moses. Okay, so I think while we're here, I wouldn't want us to lose the opportunity. So there's a few enough of us that we can actually go around and do some introductions. So would anyone want to just introduce themselves and just tell us, where you work as a product manager, where you're on your product journey, how long have you been in product, and why you got into product? Really happy to hear from everyone here on the call. Are you guys there? George, Ifiok, can you hear me?
Yes, I heard you. I was thinking someone else would start, then I'll follow.
I will start. Hello to everyone here. Thank you for showing up. Put on my video briefly so you know you're not speaking to AI. Everyone calls me Andy. I'm the head of product
Sorry.
at this factory Africa. Moses, you're back. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. My network is really showing me a lot today. So yeah, welcome to PIP interview prep session. It's so nice to have you guys here today. With me on the call is Andy. Andy is head of product for Founders Factory Africa, and he's an exceptional product management executive with over
No,
15
no,
years
no,
experience.
no need to read my LinkedIn profile.
I'm not reading
That's
your
that's
LinkedIn.
such a Nigerian thing to do, but we need to it's enough to know my name, my title, and
All
what I'm doing right now. Maybe a little bit of background about myself, which I will give later on. But yeah, it's okay.
right. All right. So I'll be handing over now to Andy. I look forward personally to learning a lot from him today. And well, fine, we're recording, but I hope we have our pen and jotters ready. So Andy, good evening. Over to you. I'll just be in the background.
Thank you, Moses. And really sorry about the network. It's just one of those things. I've been dealing with that for the last couple of days myself. Hi, everyone. Yes, as I was saying, and as Moses has said, everyone calls me Andy, not Andrew. And I am the head of product at Founders Factory Africa. For you may not know what FFA is or what we do. We are a VC, a venture capital firm. We invest in early stage startups, everything from concept stage to all across pre-seed, everything before Series A, basically. And well, you may be asking yourself the question, well, why does a VC have a head of product? That's because after we invest in a startup, we don't just invest. We believe that especially early stage startups in Africa need more than just a check, right? They need more than just money. They need support, support to understand the right problem to solve, build the right product to solve that problem, figure out the right distribution and partnerships, get and upskill the right team to deliver on that. And so we provide all of those things. We have a platform service as an investor, and so I lead the product function at FFA. That means I lead our product management team, our engineering team, and our design team. We have PMs, designers, and engineers who help our startups build what they're building, also give them advisory, and also help them hire people who can keep building after our support ends. So that's what I currently do. I've been doing product for a very long time. Uh, Before that, I was a software engineer. That's how I started. That was my first career. I studied computer science at Arizona State University. After that, I became a software engineer, worked at Intel, a couple of other places, and then eventually made the transition to product. Before I was at FFA, my last job was as head of product also at Babangona, the agtech here in Nigeria. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I have spent a lot of years interviewing people and getting interviewed by people, a lot of years applying for jobs and being the hiring manager. So I really love demystifying the process, if you will, and I hope we can get into some of that demystification here today. Since, like I was saying before, we are very few here, I want us to get a bit more personal, so that, you know, as a thank you for those of you who did show up. So I think let's start with a round of introductions. You've heard from me. You know who I am. You don't need to put your video on. I'm just doing this so that you know that I'm not, you know, a bot. But please, just if we can just go around, everyone just tell me, you know, who you are, you know, where you work, or if you're looking for work, what kind of work you're looking for, how long you've been in product, why you choose product. Yeah, let's just go around and get to know ourselves a bit better. I don't know who anyone want to go first. Okay, no one. But I mean, you are going to have to ask me questions at some point, so that means someone's going to have to speak. Happiness, yes, please go ahead.
Hi everyone, good evening. Please, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hi, my name is Happiness Okoro, and yeah, I've been in product for like more than 2 years, right? And I think curiosity led me into product management because I was working as a key account executive for an FMCG. So I got curious on how were they able to come up with product, like how did they know that, oh, this is what people want and all. So basically, curiosity led me into product management. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Awesome, Happiness. That's a very good reason to get into product and a very common one as well. Okay. Anyone else want to introduce themselves? George, Ifiok. Welcome, Comfort. How are you doing?
All right, good evening. Yeah, I'm George. I'm quite new in the product space. I literally just started my journey this year, I think around April. So I went to a school for product management. That's how I started. Before that, I used to, or I'm still in the fashion business. I own the fashion line myself. So hence the Richard Draymonds you see as my display photo. So basically, I just started products, and I'm just trying to integrate what I know from my business into product and see how products can help me in future and how I can also help other businesses too. Basically, it's just a way for me to um, come into tech and see how the ecosystem is.
Oh, George, that's really cool. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I have noted the brand. Really, really cool. Ifiok, Comfort.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Good evening. My name is Ifyo Pius. I'm a product manager. I started last year. I'm not exactly a year yet in product management, but I'm enjoying the whole phase. And I decided to go into product management because I'm just a person that's very intentional about self-development, and I wanted to learn tech skills, but I didn't want to go into coding. So I found out about product management, and it seemed like something that I would be able to navigate my way around. Since I just researched and I found that it's something I was able to do well. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
All
Please,
right.
if you hear a cat screaming in the background, I'm sorry. That's my cat, or my cats, I should say. I have a new cat, and the old cat is wondering why there's somebody in his house. So just ignore them. Yes. Okay. Comfort.
Good evening. Hope you're doing good. All right, my name is Comfort. Um, I'm been in product for a couple of years, still trying to upskill and gain my foot. I've been learning and also um, job hunting. So just trying to get the necessary skills and also uh, a job. That's it. Thank you. I can't
I
hear you.
think I forgot
Okay.
to add. I currently
Yes, sir.
intern at Crowd App, so that was how I'm starting my journey for now.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so I think we can get started. Like I said, I don't know if any of you were here last week. Not last week, the last session. But what I'm hoping to do in the next few sessions is just basically go through the entire hiring process to help everyone understand better what are the pitfalls and the keys to success, the keys to improving your odds of success at each stage, so that we're all just better prepared for the hiring process going forward. Now, the way we see it, the hiring process is, of course, it starts with the application, and that application is the CV and the cover letter, usually. After that, it's sometimes a screening call. After screening calls, it's usually the panel interview. And yeah, after that, the panel interview is stuff like, the negotiations, and then that's the hiring. So I want to take each of those and each of those things that would need to be covered there. So today, I think I want to focus on the CV and the resume. And so I think a good way for us to do that would be for me to get your questions about the CV and the resume, and hear from you the things that you are worried about or concerned about or want to know more about. And in terms of not just in general, but for product, you're going for you're trying to get hired in a product role, the do's and don'ts for the CV. And then that way we can get through that. Maybe next time we would even like go through, if someone wants to volunteer their resume or their CV, we can also go through it, and or if you we can anonymize it, and or maybe I'll create a sample one and we can work with that, sort of workshop it together. I want to do that next session. But today I would like us to just do some Q&A. So I'm open, I'm here to answer. Bear in mind, you're talking to someone who I spend quite a bit of my time hiring. Apart from hiring product managers and designers and engineers for my company, FFA, the companies we invest in, our portfolio companies, I always sit on the panels interviewing their product people, their engineers, and their designers as well. And that's why I'm constantly hiring. So you probably won't meet someone more prepared to answer your questions than I am. So please don't be shy. I'm here to help. I'm here to answer. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. We've all been where you're at. I've been here. So I want to be a resource for you. So I'm at your disposal. Let me throw it open and let me start hearing your questions. I think we can let's talk about both CVs and cover letters. It might make things more, more interesting for you guys. But open to questions now, going forward. And you can either raise your hand or pop your questions in the chat, whatever is most efficient for you. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, if there are no questions, I think I will get the ball rolling by answering a question that I often get. I'll start there. And the question I most often get is, I am new to product management. I don't have a lot of job experience as a product manager, but I have a lot of experience somewhere else, doing something else. Now, it could be as an, it's usually not as an engineer, it's usually someone coming from another IT role like tech support, customer service, or someone coming in from a sales role or marketing role or business development or something completely different, project management. And now they want to come into product management. They don't have enough experience on the CV. What do? Now, so of course, so here's what I normally tell people in that situation. I normally say, first and foremost, tell the truth, right? I think the worst thing you can do is lie on your CV. No matter how bad you think the truth looks, the truth is always the best option. That's one. But now, in that, within the context of that, you have to ask yourself a question. If I have never had the job title of product manager before, does that mean I have never done the job of a product manager? Or does that even mean that I have never done specific parts of the product manager job at any point in my journey? And oftentimes you'll find that the answer is no. You have done some parts of the product manager job before, right? So it's important when you're rewriting your CV, your resume for a product manager job, when you've not had much product manager experience, what you need to do is go back to your entire career history and look at every single job you've done and ask yourself, what part of this job overlaps with product management? Which ones of the different aspects of the product manager role was I doing as part of this job? And so to be able to, now to make this practical, I want to make this real. And so we're going to use some examples. But before we can do that, the other thing I want to do is I want to make this interactive. This is not going to just be me talking for 45 minutes. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions here. So let me start by asking, you're all product managers or aspiring product managers on this call. In your opinion, what are the different aspects of the product manager job? What are the different things a product manager does? And what are the different skills a product manager needs in which to do this job? So please feel free, raise your hand if you have an answer. Just put your hand up. I'll call you out, and then we'll answer. And then I'll be compiling a list. I'll be compiling a list in the chat. So who wants to take a stab? Yes, George, go ahead, please.
All right. So I feel like one of part of the roles product managers perform, aside managing products, I think an essential one is also human management as well, because you find out, or what I've found out over the time I started is, you realize you are not just working with yourself, you're working with a team of people, those in DevOps, those in engineering, different people in different fields. So, and you, in a way, your work depends on them. Your work depends on how efficient they are. So I realized you need to be able to manage people as well, to make sure that your whatever goal your company has, or whatever goal that product has, you guys can achieve it in within the specified time you ought to do that. And I think one of the skills that a product manager should have. I think a product manager has to know how to lead. Very, very important. You have to know how to lead. You have to know how to be a team player. I feel like you cannot be a product manager if you are not a good team member. That just defeats the whole essence of being a product manager. Thank you.
Okay, so I heard, thank you, first of all, George, thank you so much. So I heard managing people, and then within managing people, you've talked about being a team player, and you also talked about being a leader. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So, and when you talk about managing people, you were very specific about managing, cross-functional teams. So there's two things you said. So let me say, managing cross-functional teams. I'm sure you've seen that on a lot of job descriptions, right? And then there is a part there about, well, team leadership. You also mentioned, okay. You talked about being a team player, right? Okay. And then, yeah, okay. So, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, George. Comfort, your hand also went up. And then
All right, yes. Yeah, good evening. So part of product management role that I can also think of is I guess carrying out research, making researches on, like market research, road mapping, and other, carrying out roadmap work, and also um part of the skills also can be also collaboration, just like it has been mentioned earlier, and also communication, ability to communicate effectively, and attention to details are some of the skills that are being required as a product manager. Yeah.
So we have, thank you so much, Comfort. We have research. You have managing the roadmap. You have communications. And you have, I was going to make a joke that I'd forgotten the last one, which was attention to details, but I did pay attention to that detail. So, yes. So, thank you. Okay, happiness.
Hi everyone. Okay, yeah, sorry, please, can you hear me well?
Yes, it's loud and clear.
Okay. So I feel one of the skills that a product manager should have is user empathy, and also having a business acumen. Like, you should understand the business part, even if you're coming from the technical part, from the technical side. You should also understand like the business side of things. Like, it's way important, because that would help you to make product decisions, because the product you're building is not just for you, it's for people out there, it's for customers, right? So you need to like be in their shoes, put yourself in their shoes for you to understand, oh, this thing and this feature I want to build, will this fly? Are they going to be able to use it? I think that's it.
Awesome, happiness. Thank you so much. So, user empathy, business acumen, right? Okay. Anyone have any more? Or, yeah, yes, Latifat, go ahead, please. Welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Hi.
So the ones that could come to mind is stakeholder management, problem solving, and critical thinking. I think.
Latifat, thank you. Stakeholder management, problem solving, critical thinking. Okay, we have a pretty sizable list here. Awesome. Thank you all so much. And when you look at it, and it's actually scary when you think about all the different things that a great product manager is meant to have. And let me also just point out to you that nobody expects a product manager to be great at all of these things from day one. What's expected is you should know that these are the things you need to be good at. You should know which ones you are good at, which ones you're struggling with, and you should be willing to work on all of them and keep leveling up until you become, the master. So, yeah. Now you're starting out as a product manager. You've not had a job as a product manager. You had a very short job where you just finished the training. What you want to show is in your CV for that entry-level job is that, one, you understand what it takes to be a product manager. You understand that beyond having done the job before, these are the core skills that you should be expected to have, and you know that. And then you want to show, two, that in the past, you have executed on these skills. You have done jobs that you wouldn't have been able to achieve without to perform well at without these skills. So, and some of them are much easier to show on a CV than others. And so, but here's the basic format of how you do that. The first thing you do is, so of course, how it's going to end up written. Let me start by how it's going to look on the CV page. On the CV page, the headlines of each job entry doesn't change. You put the job title that you actually had. Don't lie and change the job title to add product in the name. You put the job title, you put the time you were there, etc., all that normal stuff. What changes now is the description of the role, right? So, and the description of the role changes in two ways. First of all, let me put this in the chat. Results-centric descriptions. I will tell you this much. I read hundreds of CVs and resumes a week. Whenever I'm hiring for a role, I read every single CV of every single applicant. That's just because, you know, I take it that seriously. Not every hiring manager is going to do the same thing. And even I, who's doing that, it's very, very difficult and it's very, very tedious. You want your CV to stand out. So the last thing you want to do is just say, oh, from 2012, also 2021, 2023, I was project manager at ABC company. In that role, I managed the stakeholders and I made sure that I was responsible for the team delivering on the project at particular timelines, blah, blah, blah. If all you've done is describe the role, giving me the headline of the JD, or pulled a definition and description of the role I would have found if I had Googled what is a project manager, that has told me nothing about you. That has told me nothing of how you executed on the role. That has told me nothing about why I should hire you for a product manager job when you've done a project manager job. All that's done is made me feel a bit more sleepy than when I started, right? And if I was the other type of hiring manager, maybe I won't read the CV at all. I'll just stop at that point. What instead you should do is show, okay, this was the impact I made. You could say something along the lines of, I ensured that 80% of projects allotted to me finished ahead of schedule, and the remaining 20% were within particular range. Once a hiring manager for a product role sees you describing your roles through a results lens, we automatically sit up and say, okay, this is a results-oriented person. That's what I want on my product team. After you've given the headline of what you achieved, what success you achieved in that role, the next thing you should tell us is which of these product skills helped you achieve that. So I made sure 80% of projects were closed ahead of schedule through my ability to manage cross-functional teams, my ability to manage a roadmap and clear communications between the teams, etc., etc. Boom. I look at that and I say, okay, she's telling me that she used product management skills to achieve this real world result. That means those skills are strong in her. And then you do that. You don't have to hit every single skill with every single job. Maybe some jobs only call for your communication skills. Highlight that. Then the next job, highlight the different set of skills that job needed you to leverage to achieve a result. So you just go through your entire CV that way and rewrite it that way. For each job, you keep the headline of what the job title, you change the description from a description of what the role is, what it says on paper, to two things. Number one, what was your success? Did you define success in that role? What did you achieve? And then number two, which product management skills helped you achieve that? You will write your entire CV that way, and trust me, I am calling you for an interview, right? So that's the one thing that has to be really, really mastered when it comes to the CV. And what I want to do in our next session is take a sample CV. Either somebody gives me, one or two of you give me their CVs, or maybe I'll have to go off and create a generic one. And we're going to go through that CV and workshop it together to turn it into a product ready CV, from I was responsible for CV to I achieved this through product CV. If that makes sense to you guys. Now, I won't stop there, but I want to take any questions that anyone might have about this process. Or I'm also ready to take an example. If somebody wants to give me a job description, or a job that they've done before, and say, well, how do we convert this? Or if somebody wants to volunteer and try and convert one of their job descriptions into a product job description, let's use some time here to play around with this. So I'm handing it back over to you. Questions, or a volunteer, or a request for me to change something? Latifat, after you, Happiness. Well, Latifat first.
Okay, I have a question. After writing the details of each job description to highlight the skills used, do you still have to write a section and put skills, then write them out, or no need?
Yeah, so the truth of the matter is that nobody reads that skill section, or nobody believes it. You put those skills, maybe I believe it, maybe I don't. But I'm asking myself, well, did she just copy that skill set from, wherever? Like, what's the evidence that she actually has the skills she says she does? Well, if it's soft skills. If it's hard skills or certifications, that's different. When you list certifications, I say, okay, she's done this. But like me right now, I can say that I have skills that, I don't have. I can say excellent penmanship. Meanwhile, I have the handwriting of a doctor. Let me put it very simply. Like, I have horrible handwriting. So, like, for a lot of recruiters, that skills section is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. I mean, put it, probably it doesn't hurt. I mean, I've never said, I'm not going to hire this person because they have a skill section in their resume. But I can tell you for a fact, I have never been influenced by it. And I think many of the recruiters I know are the same way. So instead of focusing so much on that skill section, maybe use the skill section to list out all the skills you think are relevant. Then use that as a short list to go back to all your descriptions of your different roles and say, have I been able to work all my skills into my descriptions? I think that's the more powerful exercise. Happiness?
Okay, I have a question. My question goes like this. Okay, do I need to optimize my resume every time I need to apply to a different role? When I say different role, I mean probably I'm applying for a fintech, right? Do I need to optimize it to fit into the job description?
I wouldn't say you need to, but I would say it helps, and that's that's also a great question. In fact, your question was also a good one. This is also a good question. I wouldn't say you need to do it, but I will tell you the truth. The more optimized and customized it is for the role, the better, right? It's very tedious to have to do it, but the more you do it, each time that you customize your CV a bit more for a particular application, the better it is in terms of your chances. And so now it becomes a question of, well, how much can you customize? Like, how many different versions of your CV can you create and keep, right? But again, I mean, that's also a skill of a great PM, because as a PM, you're writing a lot of documents, you're changing a lot of requirements, you're doing a lot of customer interviews, there's a lot of repetitive admin. So, it might be a good exercise as well. Like, yeah, I even now I have multiple versions of my CV, right? Even though I'm not actually actively looking for a job. But yeah, so definitely. Okay, Comfort.
All right. Good evening once again. So concerning resume, is it really necessary to include portfolios as part of your projects? Maybe some past projects. Some would like to see a link. Some advise that a link to maybe a project should be part of the resume. What do you have to say about this?
It's a good question. So it's a very difficult question for me to answer, and that makes it a good question. Because what I've found is, I think that in this situation, my personal preference as a hiring manager is different from what a lot of other hiring managers are increasingly wanting. Like, my take is that it's very difficult to judge a product manager by the portfolio. If the portfolio is just a list of projects that they were part of, that they worked on. You know what I mean? Like, an engineer, you can judge them by their GitHub, or you can also judge them by, okay, they shipped this app and they were the front end engineer on this app. I'm seeing the front end, I see how it works, I can test the responsiveness. That tells me something to some extent about the engineer. With a designer, it's even more obvious, because I'm seeing the screens with my eyes, I'm seeing the UX, but even I'm experiencing the UX. But even then, in our Nigerian setting, you never really know how much of that UX is the designer's idea, how much of the UX is the PM, how much of the UX is OGA-driven development. So even with the designer, which is more straightforward, it's still not fully straightforward. With the PM, it's worse, because the PM doesn't really produce any real artifact that the user touches. So you point me to your portfolio and you say, I did this project, I did that project. All I'm seeing is the end result. I don't know if that end result happened because of you or in spite of you, right? I don't know if you were the greatest PM in the world and your designers sucked and your engineers sucked, and that's why the project is the way it is. I don't know if you were the worst PM in the world and you just had a stellar designer and a stellar engineer, and they got it done without you, and that's why it is the way it is. It tells me nothing about you as a product manager. That's my personal opinion about the way portfolios are actually done. But you have those who want to see them and make their decisions based on that. And so because of that, I would say, by all means, curate the portfolio. And in fact, Moses, I think what we will do is, in the series, and I think at the end, after this, Moses, I'll reach out to you so that we can actually list episode by episode, but
Okay.
by meeting the different topics that we're going to treat. So after next session, which is about actually practically workshopping a CV, the next one would be portfolios. Let's go to portfolios before we move to cover letters, and then after cover letters we go to interviews. So, but I will dig into portfolios with you guys. I'm just telling you my honest truth that I personally don't consider them, I don't regard them. I know other hiring managers do. So I'm not going to say to you, I won't help you with building better portfolios because I don't believe in them. The market believes in them, and I'm here to help you be better prepared for the market. So I will prep you guys on that as well. Okay. Happiness, I saw your hand again. I don't know if you still had a question.
Yeah, I wanted to. You gave three options: the question and the other option was if somebody wants to volunteer.
Yes, correct. Yes. So Happiness, are you volunteering?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, please. Yes, awesome.
Should I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. Do I need to give you the non-traditional, like the role I did that's not related to PMN?
Yes, yes, let's do that. Let's do it that way. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I worked as a key account officer for BAT. That's British American Tobacco.
Tobacco, okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is how the job is. I was probably like at the first the customer say, let's say let me put it this way, like you're the receptionist, yeah. Uh, when a customer comes to an outlet, probably they come to the mall and they want to pick a cigarette, a brand that is not yours, you have to convince the customer on, oh, this is my brand, this is the feature, this is the unique feature this product have. So basically that's it. And yeah, for the stock part, if you're out of stock, you need to liaise with the store manager and try to influence the store manager to buy per usual. Like if they buy 5 cartons and the 5 cartons last them for a month, you should try to influence them to get more. So basically, that's just my day to day when I was there.
Okay. So you were facing the customers, and the customers here in this case are the outlets that are actually selling the cigarettes, right?
Yes.
And so your job was to make sure, was incentivize them or convince them, influence them, like you said, to sell more of your cigarettes so that they are buying more of the cigarettes from BAT, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you were doing that. You've mentioned two specific things you were doing. One, influencing them to convince their own customers, the buyers, to buy the BAT brands, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is also influencing them to restock more frequently, and I would assume also at larger volumes. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this. Like when you have to merchandise, like make sure your products are well, like they are. What's the word? Like they're enticing, like they're pleasant to the eye. I'm trying to find the word for it.
Okay, okay. So in that role, were you actually like designing? I don't know about branding, but also like installations, layouts, and things like that, or how were you
Yeah.
doing that?
Yeah, every week I was actually doing this. Every week I put a different way to arrange it. That is, how am I forgetting this word? Like every week I try to rearrange it from the normal way. Like when you look at it, this is different. This was not here before. So why is this here? What's this? Like something that
Okay.
would prompt you to come to my stand and ask me what is this?
Oh, okay. So now, okay, I think there's something I need to understand better. So were you running a stand by yourself, like, or was it your customers' shops?
I was running a stand by myself. Like I had a space in the mall all by myself.
Okay, okay. Aha. And then you were selling to end users, so smokers is who you were selling to directly.
Yes, end user.
Okay, great, great, great. Okay, so in that situation, what you were able to do there is, first of all, it's a customer-facing role, right? And I think we talked about user empathy, but we can expand that and talk about things like, okay, so with one, in talking to your customers, and two, in creating experiences, the brand experiences that were meant to attract the customers. You were doing two things which are actually fundamental to the product management job. The first was, of course, customer communication, customer engagement, a lot of customer engagement, both you could say customer discovery and customer validation, trying to understand what works for customers, what attracts customers to this particular product, what incentivizes the customers to buy, and how those buying decisions are made, what are the right times of day, etc., etc. So that is like you will write that in your CV and you'll talk about how you were driving sales, and you will talk about maybe whatever sales targets you were meeting, how many months you met those sales targets in a row or out of how many months, where you were ranking against other salespeople, and then you talk about the why of it because of how you were able to engage with customers and understand customers' buying decisions, understand customers' needs when it came to how they chose the cigarette to buy. That's what you will highlight in that description. And then you talk about also the customer experience side of it, and how you you were constantly iterating, which is another product thing, iterating to improve the customer experience, the visual customer experience, to incentivize even more sales and more purchasing. So you see, what you're focusing there on is customer engagement, customer customer experience optimization, and how you were very iterative in your approach. You put that in the description. I'm reading that and I'm like, I'm talking to a product manager, even though she was selling cigar.
Okay. Yeah, I just remembered now. I equally did as you were mentioning, it just came to me like I was equally doing user research. It just now I understood that it was just user research I was doing, because most time when they come, I would be like, oh, Alpha, you take Dorchester. Why do you like this product so much? So, and after every because we do meetings at the end of the month, then I try to give the feedback back to my team lead, and oh, this is what people are saying about this other brand. This is why they like this other brand. Just now I understood that. Oh, that's user research.
Yep, that's user research. Excellent. You see, once you start thinking about it that way, you start to see all the places you were doing it. Okay, I think we have time for one more question and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so since no other questions, here's what I want to do before next week or next fortnight. I would like anyone who is willing to volunteer their CV or their resume. The reward for this volunteering is that not only will we workshop it, but I will edit your resume by the end of it. And so you will have an Andy Oboforebo edited resume to hit the market with. So, okay.
Andy, am I allowed to volunteer?
Well, yeah, but everybody's allowed to volunteer. That's how volunteering works, brother. Like, so Happiness, I see your hand first. Was that you volunteering?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and George, I see your hand. Is that you volunteering as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll be the church person. Thank you very much.
Moses, people in Portugal, you're raising your hand too. You see corruption. You see.
Okay, I'll put it down when anybody else raises their hand.
Okay.
Oh, Latifa, don't do this.
Latifa has put the hand up. Okay, so Moses, what's the best way administratively for us to do this? Should they all send them to you and then you forward to me, or how should we do this?
Yes, please. You can reach out to me on Slack. Moses Afolabi, you will see a People in Product logo. So please send it to me on Slack. I'll be collecting by Friday to send to Annie in preparation for like fortnight. So
Yeah,
Moses
we can
Afolabi,
even do it before Friday. I mean, like, we're product managers. Why waste the week? So, like, if you guys can get it Wednesday, tomorrow is Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, send to me so that there's also time to look at it very well.
All right. Okay. So yeah, so please send it to me by Thursday. That's in 2 days' time. Moses Afolabi on Slack. You see me on Slack. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for the session, Andy. Thank you so much for turning up. I don't know, it's usually like an amazing time with you. So much to learn. Happiness. Sorry, we are rounding up. But yeah, let me just give you a minute. Was that intentional? Were you raising up your hand intentionally?
Yeah. It was just not my hand. But the question I want to ask is like it's totally off. It's about interview, but it's not about resume. I don't know if I should go ahead. I should wait for when the session comes.
Please wait for when the session comes. Please wait for when the session comes. Yeah. So thank you so much again, Andy. I'll definitely reach out to you tonight and Thursday so I can plan ahead. Thank you so much. So everyone, please just send emojis to tell Andy thank you. We do not take your time for granted. Trust us, we don't. We appreciate you. So yeah, till next time. I just want to let you know that this video will be posted on our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel at People in Product. We have a Twitter account, People in Products. We have an Instagram account, People in Products. You can also check us out on, just search Google and People in Products on your Google. You find us, you find our website to join our Slack community. We have amazing programs lined up. For this Thursday, we have a webinar coming up. On Saturday, we usually have a weekly check-in call. That's, I like calling it therapy session for product managers. All the shiggery you've been throughout the week, you can come and voice your concerns to people that will understand, connect to people actually on the call. And next week, this same time next week, we'll be having a group mentorship session where a mentor within the community will be available to answer all of your product related questions, whether interviews, whether how to manage your role, and all of that. So yes, so nice to have you guys on the call tonight. Thank you so much. Please, you can post your reviews on Twitter and tag People in Products. Tag Andy as well. Just let me post Andy's Twitter username. So you can tag Andy if you really enjoyed the session. Tag Andy, tag People in Products, drop your review on X. On X. Thank you so much. See you guys on Thursday. Actually, we have a program lined up for Thursday. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, and yeah, send me your CV. I'll only send the ones I see before. Yeah, invite your friends for future sessions. Yeah, bye. Bye, everyone.
Can you end the recording?